Hello, my name is John Park, President of Leadership Synergies, and this is where strategy meets science. So that's what this program is all about. For your business to survive and thrive over the long term, you need to take a more strategic approach to running an efficient and effective operation. But how do you do that? Make strategic decisions that are high value and low effort. Our topic for today is the value versus effort scoring for strategic initiatives. Every business should do this before you start to implement any particular initiatives in, let's say, the coming year. Every business wants to optimize their performance over the long term. And teams need to use a more strategic approach to selecting the initiatives that have the greatest probability of being fully implemented to get the desirable return on investment over time. But first, what needs to happen is your team has to define two areas. One is, how do you define value? So let me give you some examples of value. Initiatives that result in improving customer or member satisfaction. Let's say premium priced initiatives can give you some sort of competitive advantage in the marketplace. They complement your brand image. They are sustainable and can create reoccurring revenues over time. Those are high value items. And then I want you to define effort. Think about what it takes to get something done. Initiatives that are easy to make and service. Takes minimal human work time to sustain. Easy to contract and renew those contracts. Can be implemented with your existing company footprint. Those are really interesting effort components. So I want you to look at this matrix. On the upper left-hand corner, we have high value, low effort. These are really good. These are the initiatives you should put as your first priority. A disproportionate amount of time, money, and effort should go into these top-rated items in the upper left-hand quadrant. Then we move to the right. High value, high effort. These are worth doing, but not until you've done the items in the high value, low effort quadrant. These things might be bigger strategic initiatives that take more time to implement. So they're still good, but you just need to make sure that you put them in the proper priority place when you're thinking about your initiatives. Then we go to the lower left-hand corner. We have low value, but we also have low effort. So it's not a bad thing. Some of your initiatives that fall within this quadrant are still things worth doing. That maybe they have lots of repetition, or they're easy to manage from an effort standpoint. Perhaps they're small transactions. You can just do a lot of these transactions. They're low effort to do this. But they're low value, but a lot of them add up over a period of time. And then over in the far right quadrant, we have high effort, low value. Well, you should not do these initiatives. Or you should reallocate these by breaking them up into smaller pieces and putting them into some of the other initiatives in the other categories, for example. Or you integrate them into other initiatives in ways that they improve their value and reduce their effort. That's another option. Or maybe you just put this on the shelf for a little while and come back to it later, 6 months or a year from now. Think about doing it later. Next, there are some do's and some don'ts I want you to think about before moving forward with your strategic initiatives. First, make sure that they do pass through the criteria filter, if you will. They have to be pressure tested against your definition of value and effort. So don't sidestep that particular part of the process. 2 is define success before starting the initiative. How would you and your team define success over the long term for the initiative? Next, define how you're going to measure your progress with the initiative, preferably using a quantitative metric, a number or numbers, in order to make sure that you're making progress. Pressure test this against your strategic plan. Make sure that your strategic initiatives tie to your strategic plan, because then they work in harmony together for the overarching business objectives. Validate your customer will truly benefit from you doing this initiative. Sometimes customers don't benefit when you put an initiative in place. So do the research step to make sure that the customers want this and will benefit from it. And make sure that the initiative ultimately will build your brand image. That's a really great thing over a period of time. So initiatives that are aligned with these things have a high probability of success. And then finally, define your exit strategy up front. Just in case you need to exit out of this, you've figured that out as a team before you've even started. That's a really healthy way to keep everybody aligned around the overarching objectives. Put the right team in place to implement the item. You get the right people working on the right initiatives to have the biggest impact for the business. And get senior management on board up front. And one great way to do that is just make sure that you have a budget that's built out for the initiative and funds are properly allocated and realistically allocated before you get started. But there are some don'ts. Avoid bias in the selection process. When you're working with your team to select the strategic priorities, make sure that somebody isn't biased towards one or more of the initiatives, because that can derail things over a period of time for the wrong reasons. And this next item ties together. Don't let politics taint the selection process. So be sensitive and in tune with the political nuances, how people feel about the different initiatives before you select them and move forward with them, because you don't want to have these two things, bias and politics, derailing the integrity of the selection process down the road. When you run a high-value, low-effort business, you are more likely to succeed over the long run. That's why you should do this. You need to outfox your competitors, and the best way to do that is to be more efficient and effective, and this helps you do that. When selecting and implementing your strategic initiatives using a value and effort scoring system, you improve your chances of long-term success. Thank you for watching this video. If you liked it, then subscribe. And if you'd like to have us consider other topics and perhaps make a video, then go ahead and tell us that on our page. And this is John Park, President of Leadership Synergies. Thanks for watching, and good luck managing your strategic initiatives. You can facilitate these conversations. You're empowered to do it. Thanks for watching.